structures built on the Canal path in Itiosa local government area brought to ground zero. The Lagos State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, and his team are to continue the enforcement of building law, and more buildings are likely to go down as the structures have completely blocked the Ikota Canal, causing flooding in the area.
People that own these ones that were demolished, they don't have one head. You guys don't have two heads. We're all citizens, and people that contravened on the law. And it's still this brazen attitude of we can do it, we can get away with it, and nothing will happen. That is why we are where we are today as a people.
Some of the affected property owners appeal to the government not to carry out the demolition. The water has nowhere to go, leaving the estate flooded. But the state government insists on environmental law enforcement.
This nuisance on this canal part, on the canal itself, must be removed. That's what we're just trying to do. We are removing the nuisance. And you must have noticed, as we remove them, we're creating the canal part, the channel for the water into the Ikota River. We have to also take the hard stance and let them know that we are serious about enforcement. It's sad that we have to pull down these structures. It's sad. But the truth is, we can't allow them to stand. We have to make a choice for public good. And that choice we've made. We've taken that decision that we have to enforce it to the letter.
In every action, there is a consequences, either negatively or positively. But it's quite unfortunate that this was a severe negative consequences due to negligence of responsibility. Now, let's talk about Nado Dam.
Right. This conversation about flooding has become a yearly conversation we have with you, because I recall last year how we had this conversation, and even sometime early this year, we also had this conversation about flooding when the early warning system was put in place. Then and now, what has changed? Because we are seeing the federal government speaking with state governments to begin to evacuate persons from low-plain areas to avoid, the impact that we regularly get. How we have lost a number of persons, a number of houses, properties. What do you think has changed between then and now when we had the early warning system?
Well, when I responded to your welcome, I said it's good to be here again. Well, in truth, it may not necessarily be good, because the same things we discussed the last time, here we are again discussing it. The only thing that is different is that we have another administration. So that is the only different thing. So we hope that this administration may be able to do what others have not mustered the courage to do, because this has been a recurring decimal since 2012. One thing also that has changed, which I must mention, is the fact that now we seem to, the early warning systems are becoming better. So unlike in the previous cases when suddenly we wake up and we discover that we are, surrounded by water, the Cameroonian authorities even wrote to the Nigerian government. Now, while the letter came on August 21st, we hear some public officials here say the waters had been released since August 14th. The information we are getting yesterday is that within the next 7 days or so, we are going to see the manifestation of the release of waters from the Lagdo Dam. Now, why must water be released? Lagdo Dam is in northern Cameroon. They are having heavy rains as it is. And if they do not open the dams for water to go out gradually, the dam might burst. And if that happens, it's going to be worse than the gradual release of waters. So what have we not done? Since 1979, we're supposed to have built what we call buffer dams, so that when waters are released upland. We are in the low-lying plains. The small buffer dams should receive them. So the impact is not going to be much on people who live along the waterways. But unfortunately, administration after administration, they have been telling us stories. Nothing has practically happened. And we are always caught up in this situation. I was reading the news, and all the state governments were using the same template. People should evacuate. Some of them went as far as saying schools have been prepared. I think in Benue State, I read something like schools in the 22 local governments have been designated where people will, relocate to. And the question you ask yourself is, if schools have been designated as refuge points, when students resume next week, where are the students going to, be taught? So it means these responses are just ad hoc. The state governments have not learned any lesson from previous floods. They have done nothing. That's why you have these panic measures. Nigerians are panicking. That's what one of the headlines said. And then just like last year and the previous year and the year after that, we're going to have agricultural losses because you're going to have farmlands submerged. And then look at the implication on the food situation and the economic situation Nigerians are passing through at the moment. It is very, very disturbing. So the state government should be held accountable when we start seeing the kind of images we see last year in Bayelsa. We saw dead bodies, bodies from corpses struggling with the living, in flood waters. We saw those kind of things. We heard about, I think in 2022, about 4 trillion was lost in, agricultural produce that was underwater. So
we are talking about the problem that is taking the lives of the citizens.
When you hear them, it shows we as a people
that the government,
are not prepared. But like
be
I
it
said,
president, be it governors, be it senators, supposing to must have joined their heads together to resolve for the people in order to save lives. Problem, we are talking about the problem that causes flooding. Because when the Cameroonian authorities releases water from the Nado Dam to reduce pressure on dam, so this causes the Benue River, its tributaries, to overflow, leading the flooding in Nigeria country. My people, we are talking about the problem of displacement, because the flood have resulted in the displacement of thousands of people. Not to talk of the destructions of homes and loss of livelihood in infected community. We are talking about the problem of losses of lives and property. There have been fatalities and significant property damage due to the flooding in 2022 alone. The releases of water from that dam actually contributed to flooding across 27 states in Nigeria. That leading to numerous deaths and the displacement of millions as well. We are talking about, and how many states do we have? We had approximately 37 states in Nigeria. Meanwhile, about 27 states has already been affected. There we have the problem of agricultural impact. The flooding have also led to destruction of crops, which affected food security and economic of region involved. So we shouldn't be surprised for the shortage of foods in the market. As they usually say, that a drop of water make an ocean, are applicable to problem. Now you can understand better why problems like this shouldn't be underestimated. The reason why this problem is so severe is partly due to negligence of responsibility of the Dowsing Answer Dam in Nigeria, which supposed to mitigate the effects of the water released from the Nado Dam. That is what they are supposed to be talking about now, not how to go about demolishing people buildings in Lagos, demolishing people buildings in Abuja. Is that the primary subject now? Is that the primary needs for the people now? It's a high time the Nigeria government, Nigeria, be it governors, be it senators, be it government officials, is a high time continue to seek advice from men, elderly men with integrities, elderly men with vision, nationalistic vision on their spirit, on their mind, elderly men with courage, elderly men with accountability, not the one that be convicted with corruption and all of that. Elderly men with empathy, elderly men with communication quality, elderly men with decisiveness, elderly men with the ability and the quality of innovation, elderly men with humility, not elderly men that does not have people at heart, elderly men with resilience quality. It is high time Nigeria leader to seek for elderly men like that. And if you haven't found an elderly man like that to seek advice in order to restore the feet of Nigeria back, I have one. And his name is Dr. Charles Apoke. Listen to his advice and sit upright, Nigeria's leaders. Listen to this man and go and retrieve your step from demolishing people's houses, from bringing Nigerians that allow you to be in the office for you to serve them. You are bringing them to their knees. They are become Nigeria is bleeding, sinking. Listen to elderly men like this. Baba.
I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I want to talk about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. Beautiful idea, very beautiful idea, 700 kilometers. So maybe in 5 hours, you leave Lagos, you are in Calabar. That is wonderful. And they are building it with concrete. But there are a few observations I want to make. Number one, why don't you do the internal roads in Lagos to a point where the main express road can start from the least populated areas of Lagos State along the coast and then go without destroying many buildings in Lagos? I don't know why this spirit of breaking down buildings in Abuja and breaking down buildings in Lagos, this destructive spirit. It's only Satan that comes to kill and to destroy. You must not break down buildings. You can go to the outskirts of Lagos along the coastline and start the main road while you develop other roads that will link to it to ease traffic. There's another way to do it. What you need is about 50 meters. If Dubai, they can build totally new islands. Instead of breaking houses, why don't you dredge sand along the coastline and put the road along the coastline so that you don't break buildings? On the alternative, there are many flyovers in Lagos. Why don't you put flyovers over those buildings so that you don't break these buildings and destroy commerce? That's point number one. Point number two, sea levels are rising. Sea levels are rising. Is there any study that was properly done before building a coastal road? If sea levels rise, won't this coastal road be overwhelmed by flood? Nations are being flooded all over the world. Will that coastal road be flood prone? If it will be flood prone, is it not a waste of our money to start building the coastal road? The third question is, have we finished repairing the roads Calabar to Aba, Aba to Port Harcourt, Uyo to Uyo linking the Ekorekpene road, and then from Calabar to Ogoja to the boundary with Cameroon, and then from Calabar to the north through Itu, through down Boki and the rest places. Do we have good roads, internal roads, that we are going to pump trillions to a coastal road? The other question I want to ask, there's supposed to be a Calabar to Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt to Yenegua, Yenegua to Otueke, Otueke back to Yenegua, Yenegua to Patani, to Ugeli, to Warri, to Sapele, to Benin, and then Benin to Shagamu, and from Shagamu to Lagos railway line. If we put a fast speed train along this road where there are commercial cities already, would it not lead to more development, just the way Ujeu has developed, and traveling to Abuja is much easier by many people? We will carry more load, our roads will be preserved. Have we finished executing that rail project that we are going to coastal road? It's very beautiful, a very beautiful idea. The next point I want to make, anytime Cameroon opens their dam, the whole of the south is flooded down to the coastal areas. There is a dam that was supposed to be built right from Shagari era to containerize some of the waters if the Cameroonians open their dam. Have we built that dam? If we have not built that dam to containerize their waters, flood happened in 2012, happened in 2022. If we have not built that dam that will generate electricity, that will bring tourism, that will increase fisheries, agriculture, and several other benefits, if we have not built that dam, why are we hurrying to go and build a coastal road? Beautiful concept, coastal road. Is it an attempt to just build a coastal road along the coast of Lagos State and leave it as an abandoned project? No, I love Lagos State. We all enjoy Lagos State. We are all citizens of this country. But we must make sure that public money is used for public good. And we must think well before we invest our hard-earned currencies. Look at the east. Let's start from Ore to Benin, bad. Benin to Warri, bad. From Warri to Port Harcourt, bad. That's the east-west road. Flood comes and washes it away. You can't cross during rainy season, some flood, periods of flood. Have we finished harnessing the east-west road? Why are we in a hurry to go and build a coastal road? It's a brilliant idea to build a coastal road from Lagos to Calabar. Very brilliant idea. But we should do a cost-benefit analysis and do an analysis of other projects. Prioritize our expenditure and our resources. This is my take. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. God bless you. Send me a message on +234 705213 6763. I have an online seminar coming up on the 1st of May. If you send me a message on +234 705213 6763, I will send you the flyer of how to register. God bless you.